think the current double crisis, the pandemic and the climate and environmental crisis together, have made the necessity of achieving resilience, resilience and sustainability even more obvious and more pressing. So I think we are very much ready for new models and for new visions for all of us, each of us, but also politically. It does make sense to also give it a research lens and to employ science to better understand and maybe build better such new visions. So you might want to know or ask what my idea of the concept of circular society actually is. I mean, we all know that it does build on the well-known and now widely used concept of the circular economy. And that has really become a big fashion, but in a good sense. So on European level, it's all about the circular economy, both research and practice, which is really good. However, the idea of a circular society is much more, it's more far-reaching. Why? Because it does take the human factor into account. Actually puts the human factor at center stage. And I think this is so important because the best innovation, the best new product, the best and most exciting new bioeconomy solution for no materials, all those important technical and institutional innovations will not really work unless they are linked and supported and embraced by humans, by us, the members of society. So one strong goal and also element of a circular society is really to make us humans, their behavior, their risk perceptions, their fears, their limits, their motivations, their perspectives and preferences at center stage and start from there. So that is one thing. Then I think it's also for a circular society, it is pretty important to that we understand and acknowledge that we are embedded in biological metabolisms and material cycles. So that's the old idea from thermodynamics, which basically means nature is the limit and not capital. So this is something like the donut model has is a good representative of that vision. Also, a circular society beyond taking good care of the material cycles and using energy in very smart ways and being smart in efficiency and consistency, it goes one step further because it also looks at sufficiency in the sense of, are there other, maybe less material forms of value creation and need satisfaction? Yes, there are. But how can we support them? How do the settings, both the social norms, but also the institutional and physical settings, how should they be, how should the choice architecture of the settings be? A circular society also aims for transparency. Why? Because transparency is very relevant for building trust. Building trust is a big part of people to be empowered, to get activated in civil action, collaborate, and to collaborate in co-creations. Circular society also support and test all kinds of innovations. Social innovations such as collaborative consumptions or use of digital enhanced tools, all kinds of consumerisms or new forms of informal production, you name it. So the idea of putting promising ideas on the test bed and giving them the chance of a proof of concept. I think that's also part of such an approach. And together with that, the vision of developing a circular society needs participation and collaboration across different actor groups. So for open innovation processes, creative processes, and for all kind of meaningful deliberations and cooperative design, this is absolutely needed. So transparency, participation, and yeah, co-production. I think that, or I know only of a few labs actually worldwide these days that work specifically on the idea of the circular society. So this is still a pretty new concept. I think mainly developed by Berlin, the Berlin group from Maya Erben. So for us in Denmark, in Copenhagen, we're a little group that is trying to work on this vision. For us, it's the vision of a sustainable, just, and resilient society that delivers well-being within planetary boundaries. We know that there's a handful of cities already out there, like Amsterdam, Berlin, Munich, that are pushing a circular city agenda, also co-designing circular neighborhoods, together stakeholder groups, and all kind of exciting things. And this is actually what we plan to do in Copenhagen with a new grant. We will develop circular approaches with regard to specifically first reduced diets, so a transformation to more plant-based, healthy diets. And second, as regards food waste. So food waste, avoidable food distribution diets, and the test that in the city of Copenhagen. The city of Copenhagen does have a strategy, not just to become climate neutral, but also a specific one on healthy and sustainable food. And our idea and vision, and then also very practically operations, living labs, and experiments on site in the city will hopefully be able to contribute and to help find ways and policies and instruments and participative tools that do actually work, that really work, to find out more about that. I try to answer that question in a more epistemological approach, in the sense of what type of knowledge or skills or abilities do we know. And I came up with 5 items on that short list, very much inspired by transformative research. So the first is orientation knowledge. So what do we know? What is needed to change the system? We have to know where we want to go. Second is process knowledge. So who are the key actors to include? How can effective change process be organized? How can they be designed and executed? The third is transformation knowledge. So on the scale of transforming a city, that's our own approach, is what can specific interventions or pilot projects contribute? How can this be scaled up for others? Fourth, system knowledge. How are the variables in an urban food system interlinked? What are the supporting, what are the hindering linkages? And what can be done to change the latter, those hindering variables? So a systems view, a systems approach, which is absolutely key. The fifth is not theoretical, it is very practical. I think what we need to transform is actually a case in place. So I'm so grateful for the city of Copenhagen to agree to be our test bed, because we need test cases, we need hopefully successful, attractive pilots, and good practices, and we need proof of concept. And actually, the level of the city, maybe even neighborhoods, is a pretty ideal level for those first steps because, I mean, transforming a society is probably um, too much to ask for, but focusing on a neighborhood or a city and learning from that case, that is something we can certainly do. So we'll look into policies, instruments, incentives, nudges, also business models, technological advances, social innovations that can catalyze and mobilize behavioral change towards those two goals within a concept of a circular society as I have sketched earlier. Thank you.